Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest. Not a bad little day on the markets in terms of the movement in our indices. When the American markets were down overnight, I was a little bit concerned. Then I had a look at our futures and saw, for some reason, we were a little bit bullish this morning, and most everything is up. Just looking at the indices, and overall, the ASX 200 or the XJO is up 0.53% right now. And when it comes to announcements, plenty of choose from today. In fact, I had about 15 announcements I could have chosen. I have come up with a top 5, and I might mention a few of the companies that did not make it into the top 5 announcements of the day. So the agenda for today's video is no tweets, no interesting tweets. Well, there probably were a lot of interesting tweets, but I won't look at any tweets today. And then we'll have a look. No, to begin with, we'll have a look at the ASX today, including the best performing sectors, indices, and also companies. We'll also have a look at the worst performing companies today, and then we'll go into the top announcements of the day, including the top 5, and maybe a few honorable mentions. And if I have time, maybe a few charts. In fact, I've been saying that for a few of these videos now, and I've yet to get to that point where I've had enough time to do some charts. Okay, so let's start off with the ASX today. How have we performed in terms of indices and sectors? And this is always a little bit of a surprise, but most sectors are up. In fact, healthcare has had an absolutely brilliant day. That's not surprising because when I have a look at my top 5 announcements of the day, coming in number 1 and number 2 are healthcare companies. So it's not surprising, although well, one of these companies is pretty big. The other one is not so big. And this one that is pretty big is up about 15% today. So that has probably had a little bit of influence on healthcare. Staples up, industrials, discretionary, energy, all up by over 0.5%. And the only sector down is IT. So information technology, a little bit down. And if we look at the different indices, gold up by almost 2%. Small caps has had a pretty good day as well, and the ASX 20 up 0.46%. So probably the only sector that might be down is anything related to information technology. So let's have a look at the worst performing index, and it's IT. The XIJ down 0.01%. I'm going to have a look at the ASX 20 just to see which big companies have done well today. Actually, no, I'm going to do this a little bit different. I'm going to have a look at the ASX 200. Where's the 200? Here it is, XJO. Which companies have performed well in the ASX 200? Let's see if I've missed anything here. So the worst performing companies have been Megaport, which is, I suppose, IT, EBOS Group, which is not IT, that's pharmaceuticals, that sort of thing, IDP Education, and Mineral Resources, another one called Metrics Master Income Trust. No idea what that is. Oh, Sol Patterson is there as well. But that's the worst performing companies in the ASX 200. The best performing companies, well, I've given it away. What company has come in? Number 2, Telix Pharmaceuticals, up 15% today. That healthcare company that has a market cap of $6 billion now because of its rise today. And just behind Telix Pharmaceuticals, we have a few gold companies, Bellevue Gold and De Grey Mining. And just behind those, we also have Ramelius and Neuron Pharmaceuticals is up today. Neuron Pharmaceuticals is up as well, and that's probably helped with the healthcare being really or having a really good day. In fact, let's go back here to the gold. Let's have a look if there's any companies in the XHJ. Hopefully, they have a list of companies. Yes, they do. And by market cap, we can list these by market cap. CSL has had a good day. Cochlear, ResMed, Fisher & Paykel, Pro Medicus, Sonic Healthcare, Ramsay Health have all had a good day. And Telix Pharmaceuticals, which is the 9th biggest healthcare company in Australia, up 14.33%. I have a feeling it might be up 15% now. Let's have a look. Telix Pharmaceuticals, 14.6%. So just shy of 20%. So you can see why healthcare has had a good day because most of these companies have had a brilliant day. Clarity Pharmaceuticals down the bottom here, up 8.14%. And that's another pretty big company. It's turning into a pretty big company on the ASX, $1.57 billion market cap. And the market absolutely loves that company right now. I still think it's a story stock. but that doesn't matter to the market. They love the Clarity Pharmaceutical story. And any pharmaceuticals companies had a bad day. Well, small companies have had a bad day. Okay, so that's the sectors and indices. Let's have a look at the best performing companies and the worst performing ones. We already know a few of the best performing companies by market cap, by not turnover, by percentage change. We can ignore the first company, iSynergy Group, up 40% on $616 of trading, and some of the other companies of fairly low turnover as well. I have a feeling Cooler Gold did release something today. For some reason, Cooler Gold is just ringing a bell. 31st of 5th, yeah, we are the 31st of 5th. They've made an acquisition and a placement. So obviously the market has liked this acquisition and this placement. So up 30% for Cooler Gold. Fairly small market cap though, only 6.3 million, even with the 30% change today. Elsewhere, we have Shekel Brainway. I haven't heard about that company for a long time. I actually did a video on Shekel Brainway quite a few years ago. Spacetalk was one of the companies on my honorable or potential honorable mention list. It's another small cap company. They did release something semi-interesting, but I didn't really have to talk about that company. And elsewhere, Zicom also released something today, ticker ZGL, and their share price is up 17%. But another company with a very low small markup, only 11 million. So maybe I'll look at those two companies fairly briefly later in the video. And by market cap, yeah, Telix is up there. Clarity is up there. Bigger Cheese, really good day. Nuix, a good day. I'm happy with that because I'm trading. And Catapult, after their results yesterday, another good day for Catapult. And Demerex is there as well. So a few companies I'm trading are on this list. And coming in number one is a company that is right here, down the list a little bit, up 13.53%, Avita Medical. They are up because they released something. They released something that I will pay attention to, and I'll talk about why when we talk about Avita at the end of this video. So just look at this. I've had a good day. Well, my trading portfolio's had a good day because I am trading a few companies that are up here pretty big. Let's have a look at the worst performing companies. And I'm hoping none of companies I'm trading are on this list, but who knows? And another way to look at trading is if you do trade, only trading companies where there is a positive trade, like the trading or the trend is higher, the trend is up, you tend to increase your luck. I have found that over the last few years. Companies whose share price are an uptrend tend to more likely release positive announcements. Companies whose share price are in downtrend are more likely to release negative news flow. And that is something I'm finding more and more these days. Telix Pharmaceuticals, beautiful uptrend, they release something positive. Demerex, positive uptrend, they release something good. Anyway, getting ahead of myself here. So worst performing companies today, low turnover, small cap companies. Although Brockman Mining, fairly big company, 176 million. Well, in terms of big, I'm saying in terms of these other companies, and fairly low turnover. So even those bigger companies, I still need to see a bit more of a turnover for me to get excited. Okoda is interesting because that company is have been operating cash flow, free cash flow positive, but down 20%. But that's again on low turnover. So none of these companies interest me at all. Oh, Adrad. There is Adrad Holdings. That is on my top 5 announcements of the day, down 11.8%. And I do have an interesting story when it comes to Adrad, and I'll talk about that later in the video. Now, talking about you tend to increase your luck by holding companies whose share price are an uptrend versus downtrend. Look at these top losers and look at the year to date. Massive amount of red there. A few companies' share price are up since the start, or since 1 year ago, but mostly red. And this is something I noticed the other day. So let's have a look at the best performing companies today. And you'll see much more green here than, well, yeah, it's more green than red. And some of these greens are pretty big. So Pharmas. But if we look by market cap, I reckon there's going to be signal here. Yeah, look at this by market cap. So many greens here. And some really high greens. Demerex up 614%. Nuix 225%. Clarity up 571%. In fact, the top 8 companies here are green, and Avita down, Fluence down. And then if you go further down the list, Still a lot of greens on this particular list of best performing companies today. So let's have a look top losers by market cap. And I wonder if we're going to see a different signal. Are they mostly red? Well, there's some big performing companies here. Raiden Resources up 1,114%, down 5.56%. But I do think there is a little bit more red here, particularly towards the top. So again, if you are trading those good performing companies that are in an uptrend, I think you can increase your luck by doing that. Aries Resources down 7%. I'm wondering if, copper must be down again. I'm trying to see if there's any other copper companies. I can't see anyone's here, but I think it may be Silver Mines. Maybe silver's down as well. Anyhow, I'm going off topic. So we've had a look at the top losers and the best performing sectors and companies and indices. Now let's have a look at the announcements of the day. Not Telix Pharmaceuticals, that will come in the top 5. I'll quickly go through some of the companies that did not make it. A company called IKEGPS Group, no movement in the share price at all. They did release their results last night or yesterday afternoon, and then they released their performance, financial year 24 performance, and a financial year 25 outlook presentation, which is interesting. They released this on the morning after they released their results, but really no interest in this company at all. And if we do have a look at the chart, no interest in the chart. I actually did have a look at this earlier on, and again, share price in a downtrend, a well-defined downtrend. So no interest in IKEGPS. That Spacetalk company did release something interesting in regards to a deal with a Finnish telecom giant. They say here, European market re-entry makes me think of space and re-entering our atmosphere. Spacetalk leads European market re-entry with Finnish telecom giant. No mention of any sort of financial benefits for Spacetalk, but the market has liked this. Share price up 22.2%, but it's on a low base because share price was 1.8 cents. Now it's 2.2. So let's have a look at the chart. Is there any reason to get excited by Spacetalk? The company sounds interesting. That's probably why I had that thought of re-entry. Maybe they intentionally use re-entry because of their name, Spacetalk. I didn't think of that. In the chart, no interest in this company at all right now. So the whole reason I'm going through this process is I'm looking for announcements that are leading to breakouts or potential breakouts. Now, the next one is Task Group. They did release their results today, and I was trading this, not trading, I did have a position in this company, and I've sold out because there is a takeover bid. So as soon as I saw the results, I said, I don't really care because they're being taken over. And it looks like that takeover is going to go through. So I'm not going to even look at the chart for Task Group. Why even bother releasing results? Because you're being taken over. Now, in talking about results, a company called Aspermont, share price 1.2 cents, so very close to a company I will not ever own. If the share price of a company gets below 1 cent, I will not own this company. They also released their results. I had a very quick look at this company and their results, and I moved on to the next announcement because obviously these announcements did not do anything to me. In fact, here it is. Subscriptions revenue growth of 2% year on year to 4.9 million. Subscriptions revenue now accounts for 62% of overall revenue. Total revenue 15% lower year on year, so decreasing revenue. Gross profit of 3.9 million, margins of 49%. Reported normalized EBITDA negative. Reported normalized profit negative. Closing cash balance of 1.4 million. So I saw that and I moved on. Didn't even have a look at the chart. So let's have a look at the chart now for Aspermont. I have a feeling it's not going to be good. And yeah, not good. No interest in Aspermont. So again, even though I've never heard some of these companies, or I might have heard of them, but I've never looked at them, I still will have a look at some of the announcements because maybe I'm missing something. And that's true for Eden Innovations. Now, share price a few days ago was 0.1 cent. Now it's 0.3 cents. You could have tripled your money in the last few days because the share price is so low. It's up 20% today because it went from 2.5 cents to 3 cents. They did a market update. I'm not really going to show you this announcement because it's the share price. I have no desire to buy a company whose share price is 0.3 cents. You can see how many buyers there are. 98 buyers at 0.1 cents, 266 million shares they want to buy. And more than likely, if they do buy some shares at 0.1 cents, they'll immediately put those shares on market to sell at 0.2 cents. So you get 100% profit. That's their hope. It's just pip trading when the share price of this company gets this low. I'm not even going to show you the chart because I did talk about this company in one of my recent videos, Eden Innovations. It's a pretty horrific chart over the past 5 to 10 years. Elsewhere, we've got Hazer. Hazer Group. I have heard this company being mentioned before. Share price up 4.4%. They signed a memorandum of understanding with POSCO. Now, this company has no revenue, and they do something around about CO2 mitigation or something like that. So that's one of the reasons why there is a bit of interest in this company. Driving global decarbonization efforts with the commercialization of the company's disruptive world-leading climate tech. So I hope this company succeeds, but just hope alone will not make a company succeed. Maybe this memorandum of understanding is a step closer, but I usually am not fooled by memorandums of understandings. That's over the last 10 years. I have seen plenty of these sort of announcements released, and I usually ignore them because, in my opinion, memorandums of understandings don't amount to much, typically. So let's have a look at the chart for Hazer. I don't really know much about their tech. I've just heard about this company from the experts, mostly from AusBusinessCall. There are a few bulls of this company on that show, and the chart actually does look semi-interesting right now because of where their share price is based off the lows we have seen previously. In fact, where the share price is right now, or just below at 46 cents, is a really powerful, strong support level that I think is weakening. And this level, well, this share price was the level we saw back in June of 2022, and it's hit this level 2 times after that, and is now trading right on 46 to 48 cents. And every single time we see a bounce in the share price, the bounce is weaker and weaker. So you see this sort of triangle between the bottom of the triangle and the slope side. That slope side means the bounces are becoming weaker and weaker. So this is sort of like a bearish pattern. So not even sure what the market cap of this company is. Let's have a look. Hazer Group, market 110 million. So maybe if you do some research on this company, like their tech, I don't even think this company has revenue. I should confirm that. They do release a quarterly, and I just don't remember having this company in my spreadsheet of list of companies that do actually have receipts on a quarterly basis. And as we wait for ComSec to open up this announcement, and I have a feeling the cash receipts are going to be 0 or very small. 0, yes, they're 0. So this is not a company right now. This is still a story stock. They are not selling anything at this point in time. That could change. By this point in time, they're still a story stock. Champion Iron released their half or full year results. 4-year results today. I did not look at these 4-year results. I just want to see how the market reacted, and yeah, it's a fairly muted reaction from the market. So let's have a look at the chart. No, that's the Canadian chart. So this company must be dual listed, at least dual listed. Maybe it's more. I can see a few Champion Irons here. They might be different. There's also a CIA. Oh, interesting name. Interesting ticker, CIA. And when you look at the chart, this is the daily chart. If a lot of noise in there. If you look at the weekly chart, oh, the weekly chart looks way better than the daily chart, doesn't it? And you can see the long-term moving average channel here, or this bottom shaded area with that blue line in it. That's a really good support level for Champion Iron. The amount of times Champion Iron share price has fallen into that zone, that green zone, and then is lifted higher, has been, well, 5 times in the past 5 years. So about once a year. And it just bounced off it right recently, so almost 6 times. Anyway, Champion Iron, market cap, $3.6 billion. Do you want to have a look at their numbers? Let's have a look at their investor presentation. And hopefully this opens up a little bit quicker. Oh, it's opened up quick. I'm not sure why. You'd think there's more size. This is a bigger size. And we'll have a look at this pretty quick. Revenue 332.7 million. Oh, this is fourth quarter highlights. So I'm not sure why they're doing fourth quarter, not overall numbers. Do they have overall numbers here? Somewhere. I'm just looking for revenue. Financial highlights. Here we go. So they've got the 4 quarters of revenue or financial information here. So we can actually see how revenue has changed. And it's been quite lumpy, up to $507 million in the third quarter, down to $332.7 million this quarter. And net cash flow from operations as high as $163 million in the last quarter. All-in sustaining costs are going down. They were at the lowest last quarter. Now they have risen again. EBITDA up as much as 250 million in the last quarter, down to 100 million. So this company has experienced some negativity. In fact, I said that because of the word here. Financial results negatively impacted quarter on quarter by lower volumes of iron ore concentrate sold, lower gross realized prices, and negative provisional price adjustments. But it seems based off the market reaction, the market knew about this. Let's have a little daily chart. Yeah, share price has been a little bit volatile today and has almost began where it ended yesterday and not high volume. So market doesn't really care about these results from a champion iron. Another company that almost made it into the list, and I should talk about because this company did make it onto the list yesterday, Nanoveu. Share price was really volatile. Not sure why the indicated price is up because they've gone into a trading halt for capital raising. Yeah, so it's really interesting. They released a really good announcement yesterday and almost immediately into a trading hold for capital raising. I'm wondering if they hoped the share price would be significantly higher than it is right now. But even if it was, I don't think the capital raising would have been done at a different price. It was probably already set days before the announcement they released yesterday. Have a look at the Thursday, what do you call this, ASX daily rundown video. I did discuss Nanoveu because their tech looks intriguing. Transforming your mobile device into a 3D viewer or whatever. It does sound interesting, and they've decided to capitalize on the increased interest in this company and do a capital raising. So I'm not sure why the indicated price is up, because more than likely the capital raising will be done at a discount. Maybe it's not, but just based off probability, it will be. Another company that released some sort of results or trading update or something, it's a company called Move Logistics. What did they release? Profit guidance. Interesting enough, the CEO of this company, I discovered this today, Mr. Craig Evans, has the same name as someone I went to school with. So I actually did have a look to see if it's a different guy. It is a different guy. It's not the guy I went to school with. I thought maybe I could get a inside to interviewing him or something stupid like that. Not that I would. So this is a transport and logistics group or company, and they're just talking about, despite challenging economic environment, the company continues to expect second half normalized EBITDA to be ahead of the first half, while the speed of turnaround initiatives have been inhibited by the weak economic conditions, which is impacting customer demand across all sectors. Early improvements are now starting to be delivered. Okay, so maybe the market likes this company. The first thing I noticed when I had a look at this company was the lack of sellers. No one wants to sell any shares in this company. So even if you wanted to buy some shares, you can't. Right now, you can't. So if you wanted to sell and put your price at $5 and you wanted to buy, you really need to buy some shares in this company, you might raise the price by, what's that, 35. I can't do mathematics on the fly like that. You'd raise the price by 15-fold. Almost 15-fold by doing that. And that's a problem with illiquidity in this case because there's no one wanting to sell. So this is the sort of company I think is really highly liquid. Well, not as high as I thought it was going to be. I thought there's a little bit more trading. And I'm pretty sure the chart of this company is like, no, stay away. So Move Logistics. Yeah, the chart looks horrendous. They IPO'd in 2022, the middle of that year, and the share price went to a high about $1.30. Now it's, what was it, 35 cents? Share price fell 32% on the 6th of May. I wonder if they released anything on the 6th of May. So, no, it doesn't look like it did. It was just someone wanted to sell. 30%. And let's say we can have a look at the trade history, by the way. There it is, down 32% on the 6th of May. Someone sold 38,597 shares. It could have been just one person selling, just dumping on the market, and that's how the share price of illiquidly traded companies can drop 32% in one day. And the share price has not recovered since then. So no interest in that company, although I do have the company on one of my watch lists, but other than that. And the last honorable mention is Zicom. they did release a positive announcement. Profit guidance, it was positive. Now, more than likely, one of the reasons I don't really follow this company, apart from it maybe not being all that profitable, is they mentioned expects to achieve a consolidated net profit after tax of between and $6.5 million. But they have an S in front of it. So that's not dollars, Australian dollars. That must be Singaporean dollars? I don't know. And when I see that, I run for the hills. That's just me. So it sounds like this company might be profitable and it's fairly small. Market cap maybe 20 million. And I haven't even looked at the chart. So let's have a little chart for Zicom. Don't even know what they do. And the chart looks pretty horrendous anyway. Market cap is $10 million. So you could say, no, this company is cheap, but I don't fall for those cheap companies, seemingly cheap companies that report in overseas. Not if it's getting a bit tricky. I've had not problems, but I have seen about 8 years ago, I did see quite a few Chinese companies list on the ASX, and most of them went bye-bye. And most people who invested in those companies lost all their money. So I'm a little bit wary of these sort of companies. I'm not saying Zicom is one of those companies, but I think it's very prudent to be wary of these sort of companies. And that's probably why Zicom seems to be trading on a fairly big discount. Let's have a look. P ratio, well, it doesn't have a P ratio because maybe they're not profitable by the book. Okay, so let's have a look at the top 5 announcements of the day. I've already mentioned a few of them. And coming in at number 5, we have Adrad, which did release a trading update. Share price is now 83 cents, which is intriguing to me. Share price got as low as 75 cents this morning, opened at 83.5 cents, was low as 75 cents, high as 90 cents. Yesterday closed at 93 cents. So trading update was negative. That's the first thing I'm going to say. The trading update was negative. And here's the thing. I was a shareholder of this company this morning. I saw the trading update. I went, I will sell my shares in the company. I sold my shares in the company, and within 30 minutes, I was buying back in because the share price fell by over 10% from when I sold. And I went, now actually the company is looking cheap, even though this is a negative trading update. Now, it is negative, but it's still, the company looks cheap for what it's doing. I think the P ratio might be like 7 or 8. Revenue is still forecast to grow slightly. EBITDA is supposed to fall a little bit, but is now expected to be between 18 and 19 million. And the markup cap of the company, even at 83 cents, is quite low. Where's my, here it is quite low. So AHL, Adrad. So markup, 67 million. So I bought, a little bit below that. So we'll say I bought a markup about $60 million. And I just had a look. In that 30 minutes, between when I sold and bought, I had a closer look at this company. I went, when would I buy back in? Even though this was a negative trading update, when would I buy back in? And the share price fell to that level. Okay, I'm going to buy some shares. It was as simple as that. And it's just, this actually just shows you that I do have a background in value investing. So one of the first things I did when I started investing was I was looking for value in companies. And to be honest with you, that's all we're doing. Every single investor and trader is looking for value. And I saw value with Adrad as the share price fell today. And I think even the market saw that as well, because we saw a lot of buying coming in this. After the first 30 minutes, we saw buying. And that's why share price has rallied from 75 cents to 83 cents. But it's also increased the liquidity. That's one thing I've noticed. So there's more buyers than sellers now. The chart doesn't look as healthy as it did, but the one-day candlestick today isn't looking as bad as it could have if we saw more selling. So this sort of candlestick is sort of like a doji, and so there's a balance between the buyers and sellers. So even though the share price is down 10%, today we have seen a balance between the buyers and sellers, and that balance is around about 83 cents. And I bought back in at 72 cents, sold today, and then I bought back in at a lower. I didn't realize it was 72. I thought it was 77. And the only reason I bought back in February, I just saw the results released by, the results released by the company. I thought, this company looks really good value. Never heard of this company before. Thought there's some good value in this company. And today, even though I bought it at a high price at 72 cents, I still think maybe there's value in Adrad. And this is in my super account. And I don't usually touch many other companies in my super account for a while, or unless I have reason to. So I am, or do have the plan to hold this company for a while, 5, 10, maybe even longer than that. So a longer term hold for Adrad. That wasn't the initial plan when I first bought at 72 cents. So it's coming in number 4. We have Adrad. Share price down, but even though it's a negative trading update, I still bought back in. Coming in number 4, another company I own. So actually 3 companies on this list I do own. So EZZ Life Sciences, happy to see share price up 8.2%. The chart has been on a run. So beautiful looking chart. And again, you increase your luck by buying companies whose share price is in an uptrend because they're more likely to release positive announcements rather than negative announcements. And the flip side is companies whose share price are in a downtrend are more likely to release negative announcements than positive. I would like to see some research on that. But my anecdotal evidence suggests to me that's true. So EZZ Life Sciences secures major sales agreement with Pine Hills Limited. I did like this agreement, or this announcement, by the way. It's not the sort of announcement I usually will get overly excited about, but they did put some numbers here. So Pine Hills has committed to purchasing EZZ branded products with a minimum value of $15 million in the first 12 months. Annual purchase volumes will increase by a minimum of 10% annually over the 5-year agreement. Now, what's the margins? My biggest question would be the margins about this deal. So that's probably my only question when it comes to this deal is the margins. Is this beneficial for EZZ Life Sciences, or is it really beneficial for Pine Hills because there's not going to be much cost for that company, even if they don't sell many of the products or nowhere near as much of the products as they envisage. So, I do like the announcement. There are still some questions in regards to this type of announcement. It's just a sales agreement, but what happens if they can't sell anything? Who takes the costs? Anyway, so let's have a look at the chart for EZZ Life Sciences. And the chart looks pretty good. Yeah, this chart looks pretty good. So where did I buy it? I bought way back, well over a year ago now. It's not even on this. Yeah, I haven't even put it on here. So way back, well over a year ago, at a share price, maybe 50 cents or so. I forget exactly what. I was getting a little bit of concern back in February, March. You see this little bit of a dip in the share price. But even then, I thought, yeah, this company has a dividend, gives their shareholders a dividend, a small token dividend, and the company was cheap back then. So I thought, why sell a company that is cheap? I think there is potential the share price will rally, and then it rallied quite strongly just after that. So hopefully most people didn't get tricked out of their holdings back here just because the share price or the chart started to look weak. And yeah, the share price just took off. In fact, the share price has more than doubled since then. You can see a little bit of selling back here, 3-day selling. Share price went from about $1.10 down to about 90 cents, and the share price has recovered back to those levels with this particular announcement. So chart looks good. I don't mind this company even at these prices. It's still fairly cheap. Market cap, I'd say, is at 42 million, maybe 45 million after today. Let's have a look. EZZ. 47 million after days, but this company is profitable. They're growing, some really good margins in their company. They do spend a lot of money on advertising and marketing. So that is one thing to keep an eye on. That could be way more profitable if they didn't do that. But another argument for their success is because they are spending that money on advertising and marketing. But the reason they can spend a lot of money on advertising and marketing is because of their high margins. Yeah. Anyway. And I've said this many times, the most important job of management of a company is capital allocation decision. Now, some people would argue it's also culture, but that capital allocation decision is deciding what to do with the money in the door and in like operations. And the money coming in the door through operations is going to be enhanced by greater margins. And it seems like one of the things this company has decided to do is spend money on advertising and marketing to increase their revenue, their profits, in the future. That's their hope. So it's coming in number, what was that? 4. Coming in number 3, a company that likes almonds, or as I like to say, almonds. But I'm going to say almonds. And they released their results today, and their share price has been quite volatile. It's really interesting. When the share price opened, it went almost to a high straight away at 350. Yesterday it closed at 320. And then maybe 30 minutes later, I had a look at the share price again. Share price fell from 350 back to where it started or ended yesterday. In fact, it fell below the share price yesterday, and we have seen the share price recover. Now, I'm not going to open, now maybe I will, open up the media announcement. Now, this company is going, because it's agricultural, it's going to be highly influenced by weather, bees, also production in California. So that's weather in California. So a lot of different things can affect this company, and all those things directly impact the price of almonds. And the price of almonds, they have no control over. They do mention the price of almonds here. Almond price estimate of $7.52 a kilo, up 17.1%. Operating cash flow negative, loss per share, so loss making, no interim dividend. They do have a forecast almond crop. I wonder if they gave any sort of guidance here. They probably should. Market outlook. So the market in our following release of the US Department of Agriculture subjective estimates on the 10th of May for the 2024 Californian almond crop of 3 billion pounds, almond pricing remained neutral. So neutral. However, strong demand combined with the current low levels of available Californian inventory on hand, particularly that of high quality, has seen prices increase. Select Harvest forecast is now a price of $7.57, so slightly above where it is now. So that gives them scope to maybe do or release a profit upgrade later in the year. So let's have a look. And I can sort of understand why the market is unsure. So let's have a look at the chart for Select Harvest. It's not the best looking chart. I was bullish on almond prices a while ago, so I wanted to trade this, but I thought, no, I'm not an expert in almond prices. The chart actually looks a little bit worse than what I was thinking. Um, long term, there, however, share price hasn't got much further to fall before we are seeing all-time highs or lows. So in fact, not long ago, we did see the share price reach the lows we saw way back in 2013. Not the lows, that's starting when the share price started to recover. But that's the low we have seen recently at about $2.80. So not far off that. And when almond prices going through the roof, the share price of this company went to a high of $13.50 back in 2015. In fact, almond prices skyrocketed between 2012 2015, and the share price of this company went from $1 to $13.50. This was a 13 bagger for someone who bought at the bottom and sold near the top. This is a definition of a commodity-driven company. They have no control on the price of almonds, but when the price of almonds goes on a beautiful run, you should not be hesitant and shy about buying shares in this company, because this company can benefit from that. At this point in time, maybe not. So still a lot of uncertainty. And if you just have a look at the 1 minute chart for this company, you probably see a lot of, yeah. So share price actually opened near the high of the day and just fell down quickly. And share price was actually 320. Remember, it closed yesterday at 320. It was trading just on 320 for the first 3 hours after that initial little rally. And the share price has rallied in the last few hours of trading. So that's interesting. So maybe some analysts have looked at a closer look at the numbers and went, oh, this announcement is not as bad as we first thought, and we're going to increase our price for Select Harvest. Okay, next few companies, I've already given away number 2. It's Telix Pharmaceuticals. The only reason I've put this in number 2 and not number 1 is because I'm an shareholder of Telix Pharmaceuticals, and I wanted to be a little bit fair. To be a little bit fair, because when I had a look and trying to decide which company would be number 1, which one would be number 2, the share price increase for both, for Avita and Telix, was fairly similar. So Telix is up 14.3 and Avita is up 12.4. So maybe I should have stuck with Telix. But I wanted to keep my bias out of this video, so I decided just to go with Telix as number 2. Okay, so they did release something positive today. Roast Act select study of TLX 591 RADC therapy positive. This is a positive announcement. Just the words positive there. Now, I'm not sure if you need to have or be an expert in this area. What do you call it? What do you call this? Reading test results. Maybe a nuclear oncologist. You probably don't have to be a nuclear oncologist just to know this is positive, because they mentioned the word positive. And announces positive PFS data, and they probably do have some numbers here, or maybe not. Anyway, it's positive. I could try to talk about why it's positive, but I'd be probably twisting my tongue a lot and not really knowing what I'm talking about. So there's a lot of jargon in here that does go over my head. So again, I'm not an expert in this area, but I do know when I first looked at it, I went, yeah, this is positive. This is positive. That's as much as I know. And then you get the market reaction. And let's have a look at the chart for Telix. In fact, the share price has increased during the day because I did a tweet on this company, and when I did that or sent that tweet, the share price was only up 8%. Now it's up 14%. So the share price has risen all through the day. That's usually a good sign. So the share price should close near the high of the day. So that's a 1 minute chart. So let's have a look at the daily chart. And yeah, what can you say about this daily chart? Again, if you are invested or trading companies whose share price is an uptrend, luck is going to go your way. Here is proof. Now, funnily enough, the next company is sort of an anti-proof of that, antithesis of this story, and you'll understand why. But this is a good announcement based off the market reaction because it sounded good anyway, and the chart looks brilliant. So could I add to my position? That's what I'm thinking. Should I add to my position, or maybe just wait for the share price to pull back to the short-term moving average channel? Don't know. I'll see how the trading goes in the next few days. If I don't see much selling, I might add to my position in this company or take an initial trading position because I'm not trading this company. This is a longer-term hold for me. So that's Telix Pharmaceuticals coming in number 2. And share price has been around about $18 for a while, as high as $18.11. Now on to Avita Medical, a company I've been looking at closely the last few weeks because the share price has been hit hard because of something. They released a few weeks ago, or maybe a few months ago. Share price up 13% today. On announcement, I will almost always have a look at because it has one special word plus an acronym in there. So an acronym plus a special word. Whenever I see those two things together, I will have a look. So let's have a look at the announcement from Avita Medical. Avita Medical announces FDA approval. That's what I look for. FDA approval is very important, can be very powerful. So FDA approval of RECELL GO. Now, that's all you need to know about this announcement, to be honest with you. I think anything else in this announcement, so there's a fair bit here. So anything else in this announcement is lesser than FDA approval of RECELL GO. In fact, the CEO says, the FDA approval of RECELL GO marks a paradigm shift in the treatment of partial thickness and full thickness wounds. So this could be fairly big and significant for the company. And they also mentioned down the bottom here, the company will launch RECELL GO in its top burn treatment centers in June. So maybe you could just wait to see how successful that launch is. Maybe it's going to be highly successful. So last thing, let's have a look at the chart for Avita Medical. And yeah, the share price has been hit hard. Massive volume coming in. They released something really negative on the 11th of April, just over a month ago. Share price fell all the way down to $2.40. And as the share price kept on falling, I was like, oh, this is starting to look more and more interesting. And then we have seen a rally, share price rally up to $3. Now, this is a case of companies whose share price is in a downtrend who did release something positive. Now, it's going to be really interesting to see how the share price reacts moving forward because so many shareholders bought at higher prices. And will this put a lid on the share price moving up from here? Possibly. That's why it's really important in my opinion, for the share price to be at least a 3-month high, preferably 6-month or 1-year high, because you have less resistance moving forward. Now, there are some shareholders who bought at lower prices in the last month, but many bought at higher prices. Look at the last year. All shareholders, apart from the last month, bought at higher prices. Anyway, a good announcement from Avita, but not the true breakout that I am looking for. Do I have time for a few charts? Let's have a look at my technical portfolio. Here's an interesting one. So I did take a position in E-Road at 90 cents. They did release something interesting the other day. I forget what. I actually did talk about E-Road. What was it? Oh, the E-Road achieves positive free cash flow in financial year 24. I did see a little bit more interest in this company, a little bit high increase in volume, and the share price looks like it wants to break out. I want to see the share price break out above $1. I bought at 90 cents. So maybe I should have waited until the share price breaks above $1. But yeah, if you do actually have a look, let's have a look. Yeah, so share price now 95 cents. And the first buyer is at 96 cents. The first buyer is 98.5 cents. So the next trade will push the share price higher than 95 cents. Down 5% today. So it did close at $1 yesterday. So very close to the share price breaking out. The really good thing is a marked increase in buyers and sellers in the past week. That's one thing I've noticed. There was scant buyers and sellers when I first had a look at this company about a week ago, and that has increased. Anyway, so chart looks pretty good for eRoad. Nuix had a negative day yesterday. It's recovered today. Chart still looks absolutely brilliant. What else do I have here? That's probably all I'm going to show you. Let's have a look at Fisher and Paykel. That keeps going up. Yeah, it's a beautiful looking chart. And I think that's all I'm going to talk about in today's video. If you have any questions, any thoughts, leave those in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who's qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.